video where I'll be discussing my degree at the University of Alberta, and this is inspired by Arseny, who's another YouTuber that has made a similar video. And yeah, so let's get straight into it. I graduated this past spring with a Bachelor of Honors in Computing Science and also the Certificate in International Learning. I guess I'll address the Certificate in International Learning right away so I don't have to discuss it more. But in essence, it was just a additional certificate where you have to either do an abroad experience, do 100 hours of volunteering, and then also take a course in a second language or something like this. If you'd like, you can actually look online to see the requirements. But in essence, I extracted no extra value from this. And I am very doubtful that this will ever be useful for me in my career or in the future. The idea with these certificates is, I guess, you're stat padding and adding to your resume, but I won't even use it. I'll never add it to my resume, to be honest. So I would say it was not worth the work. And all of these certificates, usually it's just going out of your way to do some things which are unnecessary. And then you get this title, which is also unnecessary. So that's my quick rant about the certificates at the U of A, and I think probably other universities I would not recommend to take it. And yeah, these are the scholarships that I received. So apply for scholarships. I have not much else to say. I'm a domestic student, so I didn't get really any entrance scholarships. This is only one, as I went from 2021 to 2025, right? But this international baccalaureate scholarship is kind of guaranteed because I was an IB student and it was only $1,000. So whereas I heard international students usually get entrance scholarships and then no continuing scholarships, I got kind of the opposite, but I really had to grind to get all of these. I only got two actually, because this is just a medal, it's not an actual scholarship. And one other thing worth noting is that the U of A splits their scholarships across semesters. So in the case of this one, I only got half of the scholarship because I only did the fall semester, and I'll speak more about that later on. But I did get some transfer credits, I think in total, or I don't think, I was able to skip one semester in total. So I only needed 7 semesters as opposed to the regular 8, which would be equal to 4 years in order to graduate. And I additionally didn't even take 5 courses in all semesters, in all terms. So I could have also done it with 6 if I was really trying to grind 6 terms, but I definitely am happy that I did it in 7. So let's jump straight into the fall term of 2021, the first year that we were back from COVID, even though both the fall and winter term had portions of the time where we were quarantined because of the Omicron variant and all of those things that were happening. So I was initially in physics, as you can see, or I don't know where it's written, but in essence, yes, I was admitted in an honors program in physics, and then I switched the next year into computing science. In fact, I had already switched by the time it was winter term 2022, but because you can only switch once every calendar year, I was still technically in physics, even though I had switched after fall term. So I took pretty much the simple courses, or the standard, which is to say linear algebra, calculus 1, Newtonian physics and relativity, Newtonian mechanics and relativity, and also compute 174, which is compute 101 at the U of A. And I did well in all these courses. Overall, the first year at university, you'll be taking the same courses as anybody else. There'll be some specialization, if you're in physics, you'll take the physics course. If you're in chemistry, you take the chemistry course. But at the end of the day, if you do switch programs, then it doesn't matter because these will just contribute towards your science options as opposed to your major or whatever you have. So if you switch after your first year, that's not a problem at all. Another thing that I did want to say though regarding switching is university is great because it allows you to not stall for 4 years, but for 4 years you can decide what you actually like and what you want to do. If you don't know after the 4 years, then it's fine. But if you do know exactly what you want to do, and if exactly what you want to do is large language models, machine learning, etc., then I would recommend not to go to university, to simply self-study, grok the state of the art, and then post cool shit on Twitter or just make repos that get popular, and then you can just work at a startup. I guess that's a really nice thing that you can do now because you can just learn anything, you can just do things. That's my quick aside, but university is also a great experience, so that's not worth underscoring. Okay, and I guess the second term, what did I do? I had decided that I was switching out of physics at this point, so no more physics courses. So the second computer science course, I took that. And this is definitely a course which is specific to computer science. Essentially, it's discrete mathematics, formal systems and logic. I actually got an A+ in this course because you are able to replace your entire grade with the final exam. And this means that some people do not show up to any classes, do not do any of the midterms, do not do anything, and then just try their best to drop a bomb on the final exam. But then if you don't, you're screwed. I did all of the assessments. So I think I had an A going into the final exam, but then I got a 90% on the final exam or slightly higher, and 90% or higher in the course is A+. I was pretty proud of that. Then I had calculus 2 as well. So standard course, everybody will take this if you're in sciences. So nothing much to say there. And there's so many different professors, just make sure you check rate my professor and then get referred. There's rate my professor. I've had professors who had a bad rate my professor, but I actually like them. So it's slightly noisy. If you can get opinions from others, then that might be better. Or you can just go to their class during the first 2 weeks because you can drop your class afterwards. One caveat to this is that you can really screw this up, which I did in the majority of my semesters actually, which is to say that what did I do? I wasn't sure what courses I was going to take until the very end. So I was constantly switching courses. And what this meant is that by the time I chose my course 2 weeks into the semester, I was behind because I had just enrolled in a course. So this can really screw you over, I'm not going to lie. Therefore, I would recommend not to switch courses and try to get that stuff sorted out at the beginning of the semester. But you do know that this is something that you can resort to if required. And then also statistics 161 is like the business version of statistics, and it's just easier than the science version of statistics, which is statistics 151. So that's kind of a life hack. Like look at the average, it was 1.9. The business people are not that bright, I'm sorry to say. So you can just take this course, and it has equivalent prerequisites, but it's just easier because it's the business variation. And now I'm in the Faculty of Computing Science. I got more transfer credits, and let's just skip through these. So I was in the IB program, and I also did some French courses, which gave me a lot of credits, 24 in total, which is like one semester, pretty much. Oh no, sorry, that's like, okay, so each course is 3 credits, right? So that's 8 courses, so that's more than one semester. All right, now let's get to the fall term. The second year. I took 5 courses in this semester, and then also this honor seminar, which is, you can see, 0 credits. And this is like very bad finessery from the computer science faculty at the University of Alberta. In essence, if you're in the honors stream, then you have to take the seminar, which is worth 0 credits, but you still have to pay for it. It's like $200 per semester. And I think they've removed it now, but it's still ridiculous in my opinion that you're paying for something that is not actually worth any credits. And I had this option course, Introduction to Accounting. It's good to know this stuff. Personally, you have a lot of people that have absolutely no clue how to do about fiscal optimization, whatever, tax filing, etc. So I think this is like a useful course as opposed to taking a paleontology course. I actually did take a paleontology course, so let me change that to anthropology. But then you can see here that it's like probably one of my hardest semesters. Statistics was easy, so this is just a fun statistics course. The professor, Gregory Wagner, he's really good. So if you are at the U of A, then I'd recommend to take that course with him. Computer 291 was my least favorite course of all time, probably, just because the professor was really bad. What was his name? I'm trying to remember his name. I'll tell you when I do. And yeah, what was bad about this course? The final exams kind of didn't really represent what we learned, and also the teaching material was just so outdated. Like we were learning freaking Java and C, SQL packages and libraries. It was just really bad. And the assignments were the assignments were hard, so I can't complain just because they were hard. But yeah, his name is Davud Rafia, now that I remember. And there's algorithms one with Marshall Mueller. That was an excellent course. I had the 3rd highest or 2nd highest mark in the final exam. And this course also replaced all of your marks with the final exam, if I'm not mistaken. So got an A+ there. And then there's Computer 201, which is also a great course. It teaches you C and command line SSH, stuff like this. Integral stuff if you're a student in computer science. So overall, this was a nice semester. Other than Computer 291, if you can take it without Davud Rafia, I would recommend it. And all of these other courses, these are just essential computer science courses if you're looking to build that foundation. Yeah, nothing much else to say. You can see that they're also massive courses. But another thing that I'll say really quickly is you need to go to classes unless you know this stuff. Because first of all, going to class means you're not going to fall behind as easily. And then there's a caveat. You need to go to class and actually be engaged, which is to say, in all of my classes, I was in the front row, raising my hand constantly. First of all, this makes the professor know who you are, which is good, because once you go to office hours, you can even develop that relation further. And just to be honest, if somebody knows who you are, then there will be some bias and somehow you'll get a better mark or you'll just get more help, etc. It's not bad if the professor knows who you are. It can only be good, is all I'll have to say. And when you're interacting with the professor, then you're also being more engaged with the course. So this is the semester I skipped, the winter semester, winter 2022, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct. I wasn't there. I did a internship, but it was like a work experience in France. It had nothing to do with computer science, but I took advantage of the fact that I did have the IB credits, but this meant that I missed the scholarship for the second semester. So wherever I had that scholarship, which was up here, the Tegler one, I only got $750 instead of $1,500. So be aware of that. That's something that I was not aware of when I undertook that semester, but it's all good. Fall semester 2023, we took Compute 267, which is the basics of machine learning, which is taught in Julia, which I don't think is a good idea. I mean, at least I haven't heard Julia being used or even touched since I've graduated, and I just use ChatGPT for all the assignments. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. And then there's Compute 366, which is with Levi Lellis. He's the best professor in computing science probably, and search and planning is a really amazing course. As you can see, the average was really high, 207 people, and of these 207 people, I'd say at least 50% came to every class, which is 50% is insane in terms of attendance. Most classes, I would say, do not achieve 50%, and this was just a joyful class. What else can I say? You learn A-star, all of these algorithms. We learned about biological evolutionary algorithms for learning, and some machine learning aspects, but it's mostly just search heuristics, etc. Then linear algebra 2, another very important course, I would say. It was taught by a grad student, and he was also excellent. I'll put his name in the description because I only remember his first name being Brandon. And then otherwise, there's a problem-solving seminar, which unfortunately is no longer offered. But if you know about the Putnam Putnam competition, then this is essentially a preparatory course for the Putnam exam. And then you take the Putnam at the very end. And this course was so cool because after the Putnam, you would go to a restaurant nearby campus and eat with everybody. And it was all covered by the course, which was sick. And you get 1 credit from it. And it's not even graded, which was awesome. You just have to get 50%. This is probably one of my favorite courses I ever took at the U of A, but because people were not interested, it was 9, and then it became 8 after, the enrollment was so low, they had to cancel it, which is so unfortunate. And it's the worst course I ever took at the U of A. I took some courses at the French campus, which I did not recommend. It was just not yeah, it just wasn't really that fun. The professor is like the worst professor ever, Pierre Rousseau. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about why I got to be in that course, but it was stupid. And yeah, they have a French campus, but I only did that to maintain my French speaking capacities, even though I could have done that by just practicing on my own. So nothing much to say there. Winter term 2024, however, what did we do here? I took quite a few, only two computer science courses. So Compute 469 AI Capstone is an amazing course because it's taught by Russ Greiner, and he's like an OG professor at the U of A. He's also a professor in the Faculty of Psychiatry because he collaborates with psychiatrists to, I don't know, do stuff with machine learning. I'm not entirely sure what he does, to be honest. And you just do a project. So like there's no actual component being taught. So I, once again, recommend this very strongly. Essentially what you do is there's a bunch of local companies that propose projects. So for example, there was a dentist that was trying to create a training software for dentist students. There was also, well, what we ended up doing was segmentation of the kidney in ultrasound with, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Live segmentation of the liver, not the kidney, with UNETs. That was a really awesome project. So once again, I highly recommend this. I guess only 39 people in the class because it's really hard to get into, and there's only a certain number of people they can allow because each person is a team, and each team has like individual meetings with the professor. So it's like, it's pretty intense course in terms of like, you get a lot of value from it is what I'm trying to say. It's not just you're being lectured to. And then there's introduction to information retrieval, essentially how does Google work, or how did Google work at the beginning, which is taught by Denelson Barbosa, who honestly, I kind of think he's cool, but he's probably one of the laziest professors in computer science. But I got like the highest mark in the entire class. I got like 105 on like the exam or something, like the highest mark. So life flex. And then there's this course I took, which is like literally drama and French. But then I liked this stupid thing which they added, which is you can make a course only, not count towards your grade. You can do one course per semester like this. Like it's a pretty technical, the details are technical, but in essence, they made this program where you can make a course not count towards your grade, which was stupid because I actually think I got like an A+ in this class, but I couldn't, like the details weren't clear. And then I like turned this on for this class, and then I tried to reverse it, but they didn't let me. Really unfortunate. But anyways, it's just another French course, which doesn't matter. The only French course that I actually did enjoy taking was geometry in French, which was really cool because I love geometry, and we're just like, it's pretty much like this course where we're doing problem solving seminar, but only for geometry. And yeah, that was really fun. There's also a geometry course in English at the U of A, which I would recommend you to take if you're looking for a math option. That's fun. And then I also had to take an English course because unfortunately at the U of A, you have to take 2 English courses, mandatory, which is stupid, very stupid, especially if you're a domestic student. Like I guess if you're international and they want you to learn English, then maybe, but yeah, I got an A in the course still because in English, above any other course in English, you need to have a good relationship with your professor. You need to develop that. You need to ask questions. You need to go to office hours and essentially like quiz the professor, because in English, they mark your stuff. Like the professors will mark your papers individually, right? So they'll know who they're marking, and that definitely has an effect in the results of the marking. If they know you well and you're nice to them and all this, then you'll get a better grade because, yeah, I don't enjoy English, but I still got an A. And I should have got the IB credits from English, but because I didn't enjoy English and my teachers were not too into me in high school, I didn't get the high enough mark to, you need to get a 6 in IB in essence to pass and get the transfer credits at the U of A, which is unfortunate as well because at other institutions such as McGill, for example, you'll need a 5 out of 7, but that's an aside. And yeah, that was the third year. So the third year was 5 courses here and then 5 courses here with the problem solving seminar as well. So 5.3 courses. And you notice that I did not take the seminar at all in these later terms because you're not forced to take it. But like essentially they'll say like you might not get your degree if you don't take it. So I just essentially risked it and did not take the course. This is no longer necessary once again because in the new diploma programs at the U of A, you are not forced to take the seminar, and in fact I think it's being phased out. But all that to say, I stopped taking the course because I was not down to paying $200 per semester to get no credits. And then I just pretty much explained to them at the end that like, oh, I had a class conflict, or in essence I booked a class at the exact same time so that I did not have to take it, which in this case was like English at 3 p.m. But I did have to take it once at the very end because they said like you literally will not be able to graduate if you don't. You won't be able to graduate with honors. But they even said that they would mark it on my transcript that I did like skip these honor seminars, but they didn't, or I guess they forgot because it's not here. So good. It's probably like the hardest semester of my entire degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, but this one was a seminar. But four 400 level compute courses and 1 399 level. So 399 and 499, which you can see here, are essentially research courses. So you're just with one professor, and what this means is that you're just working with them on a research project. In this case, I was working with the PhD students and the professor with another bachelor student. That's why the enrollment is 2. And we're just helping him with his research project. And in this case, it was anomaly detection, which is to say detecting malware on computers in system log. So it's a pretty cool project. And the best thing about this is that it's like one-on-one. So like you don't feel like you're just like another student in the class who isn't really actively contributing. Whereas this one, like literally you had meetings, you had to ship code, like you actually have to do shit. And it's kind of similar to what you have to do in like a real life situation at a job. It was almost like a mini job, to be honest, because I had to like understand the project, and then we would contribute in specific ways. Essentially, the PhD student would give us tasks, and then you had to show up and actually do the task. So it was a good course, and like kind of is like a mini job, like I said. Then we had with Martin Mueller again. Martin Mueller is a great professor. This is actually an instance where the rate my professor is absolutely incorrect. Martin Mueller, Austrian professor. He has like, I don't know, a low review, but he's such an excellent professor. It's just because people are lazy and they're lazy. I don't know what else to say. And they want to blame him for their shit mark. So this is one of the best courses I took, which is essentially AlphaGo. That's all I'll say. It's called Search Analysis and Simulation, but you just learn how Go works and how the evolution occurred from like human heuristics. Like he actually wrote the best state-of-the-art C Go playing program before like AI was used, which was like rule-based. So like he was literally at the state of the art. And then of course we talked about the machine learning revolution, CNN, etc. in the later half of the course. And then this is like the stupidest course of the entire U of A. It's NLP, right? Could be 461. So because we're in fall 2024, which is 7 years after the release of the transformer, you'd think that that'd be the focus of the course, right? In fact, there's only one lecture where they briefly mention the transformer, and very briefly in art, like they mentioned the transformer, RNNs, LSTM in one lecture, and they just say, yeah, it's like a sequence network. Implementation details left as an exercise. Like this is literally what they do. And instead, they teach you like context-free grammar, Noam Chomsky normal form, all this bullshit that nobody actually cares about anymore, to be honest. Finite state automata, kind of cool and applicable still, but you also learn about like n-gram models, which also are like a really cool foundation and you need to know about it, but you shouldn't spend the entire semester learning about n-gram models and stuff like this. And you should actually learn about transformers. But because the U of A, in my opinion, is kind of backwards in certain aspects, I think all universities are like this. They're like literally like 5 years behind of what industry and the state of art is. Then unfortunately, this is what's occurring. So this course was just jokes, literally jokes. Maybe they'll update it soon, but I doubt it because I don't even think the professors know about transformers. So I'm like exaggerating, of course, but let me yap for a sec. And then, yeah, that was this course, NLP. It's also taught by Denison Barbosa, and this is the second course I took with him, right? I took 461 and 361 with him, and 461 was way worse because, yeah, he just was kind of authoritarian. Like, he would, like, I don't know, make some weird authoritarian decisions. Like, the students were, like, low-key gonna revolt against him. It was a really funny time, and, like, they made a Discord, and then he was like, you guys made a Discord, you're rebelling against me, even though, like, you make a Discord for every single class. Like, he said, you made a Discord without my permission, and, like, started freaking out, is what I'm trying to say. Now, let's move on to Compute 466, which is Machine Learning Essentials, which is literally just this course 267, but at 400 level. Like literally it's the same course. And what happened here is that I unfortunately wanted to drop this course, but I forgot to drop it before the course deadline. In essence, I like fell asleep the day of, which was like September 15th. And then I had to take this course because I wasn't about to drop the course and then only get 50% refund, which is what happens after the drop deadline. And yeah, it was just repetitive. So like I didn't really engage with the course that well. But what was good is that I took the research course with this professor in the next term. So like at least I got to know him and then take the course with him, even though I got a B+, which is kind of funny. And I got a B+ because, yeah, it was, I don't know, it's like pretty math heavy. In terms of ML theory, I'm not that strong. And I also missed the deadline for the final assignment, which was a big lack. Like I literally submitted the final assignment like 1 minute late and it wasn't great. I got a 0 on the final assignment, which was a big L. So I probably would have got A- or A if I didn't do that. Anyways, grades don't matter. I can guarantee that. Only thing that it does matter for is if you want to get a scholarship, because if you don't, then if you have bad grades, then you won't get any like scholarships, is what I'm trying to say. Especially there's these scholarships at the U of A where you just literally need a 3.4, 3.2, whatever, and it's guaranteed like 2K per year. So that's worth noting. And then there's this course, which is called Cryptography for Digital Privacy, where I got an A-, which was really jokes. I think I should have got a better mark in this course, but it's okay. And the professor in this course was all right. Bailey Kashmar, 25 people in this class. Yeah, I don't know. Cryptography is cool. You learn about like Tor, which is essentially how like the deep web works, right? Because you're passing through these, it's called onion routing. You're passing through these different networks so that you can obfuscate your like activity. How do I say it? Like your presence on the internet. And yeah, I think this is the hardest semester I ever took at the U of A, probably for 400 levels and then one 399 level. But yeah, nothing much to say. My penultimate semester there. And then, so you can see, first of all, yeah, I think I finished with like a 3.8. So most semesters got like either 3.9 or 3.8. So I guess I had 3.85 approximately finishing off. And then here I had to take my my last English course, I guess, because you have to take 2. And once again, I got an A in this course because I was really nice professor. I like just always asked him questions when I had, and like just being a cool guy. And like this is the easiest semester I took at the UVA, which I'll explain to you really quickly. First of all, I had to take this paleontology course, which is only worth 1 credit, because if you remember, I took the problem solving seminar twice. Once here, is it there? Yeah, once here and a second time. Okay, anyways, I took it twice. I had 2 credits, but 2 credits is worthless because everything is in multiples of 3. So I need to take a third course to get that 3rd credit. And there's like only paleontology is like the only other course that's offered as a 1 credit variant. In essence, this course, instead of being 3 months, which is like the standard length, was 1 month long, right? So it's therefore worth 1/3, which is 1 credit. And I got a B- in this course because I literally like sped run it, and like there was only like a midterm and a final exam. So I would just like speed run the modules because it was like online. There was no actual course. It was asynchronous. And then on like the midterm and the final, like just kind of like try to clutch up. But not really. Yeah, it was just for one credit. I just needed to graduate. Then like this course was amazing. History of science and technology, whatever. History of science, technology, and medicine with the Professor Robert Smith, if I'm not mistaken. And he's like a British guy, so British accent, love that guy. And it was so cool. Like my most interesting course probably. I think I've said that already, but in terms of just like learning about history, there's so many cool connections and insights that I got from this course. You learn about color, you learn about the Manhattan Project, you learn about like everything starting from like the Greeks onward, I guess, like Plato. I mean, that's like less emphasized, kind of focus mainly on, I guess, 18th century onwards, like Industrial Revolution. But you also talk about like other previous inventions, etc. Really cool course. I'd recommend it. I essentially like searched Reddit and like was like, what's the coolest option you can take at the UVA? And like this was one of the results I got. Another one was like, there's these environmental education courses which you can take, which are also really cool. I'll show that at the very end of the video. And then I took these two research courses, right? So one of the research courses, which is the A+, was just literally this course again, right? Because enrollment's 2. And then the second course was with the Professor Lili Mo here, awesome guy. And I took the course with him. I got an A, which is really cool. And this was the easiest semester I ever took at the UVA because first of all, these two courses were research courses, right? So there's no like midterms or finals. You just had to like not fall behind and like do what you said, which means that if you work really efficiently, then you can do like a significantly less amount of work than is equivalent in a course. And then yeah, the English was all right. The history was all right. And then this course was only with 1 credit. So to be honest, I only was really taking these courses on like a full-time basis. Yeah, so I got for the first class standing there. This video wasn't really structured. So if that was what you're looking for, then I apologize. I just wanted to like give my 2 cents before I forget about everything because it's already been like 3 or 4 months since I've graduated. And then, yeah, these are the courses that I talked about, which are like cool environmental courses. So it's like Ren R205. Let me move this. Ren R205, Ren R467. And if you're interested, I have this Google Sheet, which is called Course Master Plan, right? And I rarely recommend that you do this, right? To map out your courses on just a Google spreadsheet. I did like this, but you can also use this like this template. So this one is cool because, why is it cool? I'm blocking it. That's okay. I'll put this in the link, but you can just like map it out in a more structured way, I guess. So yeah, that was the video. Hope you enjoyed. I probably missed a lot of things. So when you have questions, then I'll be happy to answer. Where is it? Yeah. But hope this was insightful. And yeah, if you're going to the U of A, I don't think it's like the best university. I'm just from Edmonton, so I went there and I'm happy about it because I get to stay home. But if you are going to the U of A and you're international, for example, then I'm not saying that it's like a shit university either. But I think overall universities are like, they're falling off because they're not able to innovate as fast as technology does. So we'll see if that changes in the future. But yeah, those are my final thoughts and have a nice day.